So there have been a number of things going on, which I'll get to in a moment. But first, I wanted to thank those who have sent messages of support and gratitude. I do read each and every one of them. I don't always have time to respond to them. As this channel grows, so do the messages in my inbox. And it's gotten to the point now where I just simply can't respond to each and every message that I get. So, from now on, I will not be looking up anybody's astrological chart. That is the most time-consuming thing. And I will also not be answering any questions that I've already answered within the videos themselves. I'm sorry, I know people have difficulty understanding some of the things that we go over, but as I said in the very first video, it's not required to understand everything. There's many times where I didn't understand something at first, and then later on it would make sense to me. So that's just the way it's got to be for now. The lessons are designed in an order. I know it's kind of a pain to have to watch the entire thing from the beginning all the way through to understand a lot of these concepts, but that's the way they're structured. There is a method to the madness. Because I do have a lot of people who like to chain question me, where I'll answer one of their questions, and as soon as I answer it, they'll throw me another. I'll answer that, they'll throw me another, and this just keeps bouncing back and forth, back and forth. And I'm sorry, I just really do not have the time for that. Spring is the most demanding time because now I have yard maintenance, I have the spring cleaning, and I have the other issues that I've been dealing with lately, which is why I haven't been on in a while. It's getting to the point where I understand now why certain people charge consultation fees, which is something that I've always hated. You know, it's like, well, why can't the person just answer my question? You know, why do I have to pay a fee for somebody to answer my questions? And I understand that now. It's simply that they just don't have the time to answer everybody's questions. They, you know, once you get to a certain level where so many listeners are listening to you, it's very, very difficult to manage the time to answer everybody's questions as much as I'd like to. And I don't want to have to go that route. So I just want to cut out a lot of the things that keep getting asked. A lot of it is stuff that I've already answered in the videos. And a lot of it is, can you look up my chart? And I'm sorry, I can't do that now. That's just way too time consuming. Now, if you want to get your free chart done, go to astro.com. And they have all the charts that you need for free. Just register for an account and plug in your data, your birth time, location, and voila, you have a chart. You'll have to go by their interpretations of it for now, but and pay attention to the lessons that I'm giving on the planets and things like that, and slowly but surely you'll get there. As for questions and the lessons that I've already given, I think I've explained them pretty well enough to where most people can understand them. But if you have a question about it, meditate on it for a little bit and let it go. And then later on, the answer may come to you. That's how it usually works for me. That's how I come up with a lot of my answers. I do want to help everyone that I can. That's just how I am. And so if I can get to it, I will get to it, if it's easy enough to answer in a timely fashion. Just understand that your question isn't the only question being asked, and every single person asking them feels their question is just as important. And I've had a number of people ask me about their purpose and wanting to find their purpose, which isn't really for me to say. You should have an intuitive sense about that already. And if you've been paying attention to R.S.D. Tyler's channel, he's had a number of great videos, some of the best he's ever done recently, One of them was on the power of purpose. You should definitely check that one out. And a lot of synchronicity between his work and what I'm doing on this channel. And he's got another channel, RSD Free Tour, which has a lot of great stuff on that as well. And now for some of the things that I've been dealing with as of lately. When you get to the first elemental grade of Earth, this is the time where you start to master the things of this physical world, such as your health, your finances, and things of that nature. And although I've shored up a lot of things, there are still some lingering demons that you're going to have. And every magician at some point has to battle their demons. One of those things that I had put off for a long time and had gotten way out of control was my addiction to caffeine and sugar. And I had gotten up to about a 12-pack of Mountain Dew a day, which is not good. It's just terrible for your health. Okay? So I went to battle with that demon and used supporting magic. And I went from that to nothing in 10 days. And I've been off it since. I make it sound easier than it was. The pounding headaches were completely unbearable. Thankfully, my will and my resolve were stronger, and I got it done. It needed to get done. Having already been through that grade made it a lot easier, I think. I also took inspiration from this man. It's important to have good mentors, okay? Even if you don't know them in person. Find somebody that's doing something better than you and follow what they're doing. This guy's name is Lou Corona, and you can look him up. He's got a number of videos on YouTube. But he had a host of health ailments when he was 20. This is the guy on the right. And had all his ailments cleared up within 6 months. By drinking this drink he makes every day. And he does eat a lot of raw foods too, but he drank this drink every day. And in this picture, he's like 58 years old. He's well over 60 and doesn't look a day over 40. So I decided that I'm going to have what he's having. Because he's obviously doing it better than me. And so I cast for a juicer. And within a couple days, I found one new in the box for half price on Craigslist. Went, picked it up, and been making this drink every day for, about a month and a half now. And I love it. It's great. And it definitely will clean you out. It's called the Lemon Ginger Blast. And I'll link to the video here. I certainly recommend it, especially for you young people who want to hang on to your youth. This is a good way to do that. When a guy's like 63 and he looks younger than me at 43, then, I'm going to take his advice. That's just how it is. He knows something that I do not, and I'm going to follow what he's doing. And that's the way it should be. And at the same time, I'm doing magic to support my actions. Because the magic supports actions, and the actions support the magic. That's how it works. The next thing that I had been dealing with is one of my pets had suddenly become ill. And he lost a lot of weight in a very short amount of time. Wasn't eating, wasn't drinking, and was very lethargic. So got him into the vet, and they discovered that he had a mass growing on his left side by his kidney, and they did not know what it was. It could be something obstructing his digestive tract, or it could be cancer, or it could have been any number of things, but it certainly was affecting his appetite and his ability to pass stool. So there was definitely an obstruction. What it was, we did not know. And they recommended exploratory surgery to find out exactly what we were dealing with. And with this particular species, anytime you affect the digestive tract, they're going to go downhill fast. That's everything. That was on Monday that we had him diagnosed. And his surgery was scheduled for Friday. Now, normally he eats a lot of hay, grass hay, which can be very dry, which is fine as long as he's drinking his water, which he was no longer doing. So I immediately put him on a moisture-based diet and some Benebac enzymes to help aid the digestive process, basically to jumpstart his gut. And he wasn't eating very much of what I was giving him at all anyway. But this was the action that I was taking. And I backed that up with supportive magic. I first cast for removal of the obstructions and for any cells that may be cancerous to return to normal and to rejoin his system. I made invocations to Raphael, the archangel, the divine physician and healer, through his sigil, and put him on the task of helping the situation. I then cast for successful surgery because I only had 4 days. So we brought him in on Friday for a surgery, and they had him prepped, shaved, sedated, on the table ready to go. And they noticed that the mass that had been rock hard was now soft and was starting to break up. He also started passing stool again, and with that they ruled out cancer, and it was most likely what they call a fecalith, which would be an obstructive mass in the digestive tract. And so they felt that surgery was not needed, and for me to continue on doing whatever it is I was doing to get him back on the track of health. And I can say now, as of today, he's eating like crazy. He's almost back to his old self, and he's starting to put on a little bit of weight. I noticed today he's put on a little bit. And so in 4 days, it went from looking very grim to a complete turnaround. That's magic. I mean, I myself am amazed. And I've seen a lot. So how is this achievable? Well, the first thing is in order to battle sickness, you have to do your battle first in the mind, which means you cannot allow fear and doubt to take hold. You cannot even entertain the thoughts. And that's quite difficult to do. To say that I wasn't battling this would not be the case. I was really, really keeping all negative thoughts out of my head, and it was quite difficult. But anytime they'd pop up, I would deny, banish, and reject those thoughts and focus on my actions that I had to take. I had to feed him like every 3 hours, or at least attempt to. And I would focus clearly on that. I would not let the fear take hold. I would only have love for my pet. I did not pity him, okay? I only loved him in any state that he's in. I just loved him. And put that energy into the process. I did my envisioning of him healthy and back to normal while I did my invocations to Raphael. And I know a lot of people think that angels are difficult to work with, but they're pretty easy to work with, as long as you're in alignment with their office and their specialty and the greater good. Most people who find it difficult to work with angels are doing things for their own benefit instead of the greater good. And that's when angels will do things like try to teach you a lesson. And so I did my invocation, and I did my castings, and then to forget about the magic that I had performed and the outcome of that, I then turned my focus on doing my actions and the things that I needed to do, and let the rest be handled by the magic, by utilizing faith. And this is how I got it done in 4 days, and have been continuing progress since then. But the immediate concern was the surgery, which turned out to be no longer needed. So how do we get into the frame of mind where we release this fear and get into a more positive state? Well, for me it was through polarity. For everything that seems bad, there's always something there that's good. That's just polarity. Most people, if they had a diagnosis like that, they would be focusing on, oh my God, there's a mass, it may be cancer, it could be this, it could be that, and they let their imaginations run away with them, and so does the fear. This is not desirable for health and healing. This is very detrimental to it. Instead, I focused on all the positive aspects of the situation. First of all, we were able to get him into the vet on Monday. They were able to fit us in. That was a very busy day for the vet. If we had to wait any longer, things could have been much, much different. Next, the placement of the mass was very easy to get to in terms of surgery. He also had the best vet in the area for this particular species. He himself have owned a couple of them. I'm also very good friends with a nutrition expert on this particular species with 20 years plus experience who does consulting globally for these particular pet owners. So he had the best supportive team. And he also had an owner who knows magic. And so I came out of that diagnosis very positive. And it took a little work. I would have those thoughts trying to enter my mind, but I would throw them out immediately. And by the time we got him home, I was in a pretty positive state. And it was my job as a magician to keep that positive state and to do what I needed to do. The rest was in the hands of the magic and the divine. And that's how you get it done. Okay? The magic supports the action, and the action supports the magic. But you have to do your actions with faith. Faith and action. That is the combination that will defeat all. You absolutely cannot allow fear and doubt into your mind when you're working on health and healing. So, that will about do it for today. As I said, I'm pretty busy lately trying to get everything caught up due to these circumstances. But I'm going to be focusing on finishing up Words of Power so I can get that out, and working on the money spell so that you will have no difficulty in getting Words of Power when it does come out. And I will see you next time. As always, take care.